Apple is the only company that can come out with a product that makes me hate the price I have to pay for that product as much as I love the product when I actually use it. And there's nothing that epitomizes that more than the Apple AirPods Max. Because these are quickly becoming my favorite pair of headphones I ever bought. There are some cons, of course. But let's see if these headphones are actually worth the price, if they're overpriced, or just basically what is Apple doing when it comes to them coming out with a product like this. So this is Adam. I hope this review is helpful. Thank you for watching ahead of time, and let's get into it. To give some proper context and really to set an agenda of where I'm coming from with reviewing these, is I'm coming from an everyday consumer mindset before anything else. I'm not an audiophile, and with that being said, with audiophiles, $549 for a pair of headphones does not equal audiophile. You do not have to put these in audiophile territory just because of the price. That's not, it's Apple. Apple focuses on everyday consumer, keeping things as simple as possible first before they ever enter that category with anything. Now that I've set the agenda for the review and really where I'm coming from, I want to talk about the design of these, how they're made, and overall how they feel, especially when it comes to my favorite part about this overall design is how comfortable they are. They are the most comfortable pair of headphones I ever wore. And I know that's a big statement to make, but that's from reviewing Sennheiser, Bose, Sony, Skullcandy, I mean, you name it. These are the only pair of over-the-ear on-head headphones where I guess that's why they call them headphones, where they didn't give me any pinching on the crown because of that mesh lining. My ears did not sweat easy or really sweat at all. And the overall weight of them just feels even for some reason, especially since they're made out of metal, which is pretty weird and actually threw me off that these actually feel as comfortable as they do. I was not expecting that. And I think the second reason why is because of the ear cups. These ear cups are my favorite. They're actually genius when it comes to Apple standing out from the competition of everybody using leather ear cups, which the most uncomfortable part about using leather for ear cups is how fast my ears sweat and how much heat generates because of wearing them for a long time. And if it wasn't for Apple doing that, I probably wouldn't have noticed as big of a difference in comfortability and overall how they feel, especially when it comes to heat management, I guess, if that's the thing with headphones. But the biggest flaw about the ear cups that I do want to get out of the way since it popped in my head is I worked out in these once. Now, they're not sweat or water resistant headphones, so it's not advisable to do that, but when I did sweat in these, you ever notice when you sweat really hard after a workout and you see that ring on your shirt? You're going to see that on these, and it's pretty gross and you can't clean them. I had no way of cleaning these. I couldn't just wipe them on my shirt like other headphones that have leather ear cups. So yeah, that's a definite flaw. If you're looking to work out on these or anything, go ahead if you plan on changing these more than you probably should. And it has nothing to do with the ear cups being magnetic and being able to attach or anything. I think this is just Apple flexing, being like, hey, that's how much we can innovate or be different or whatever it is. Because for these costing, what, $79 to replace? I mean, a lot of people try to justify it and go, well, you need to replace them every now and then. Guys, there's no reason for them to have done that other than just being flexing about it, just being like, hey, we're Apple, we can do whatever it is we want. As far as the color goes, I will say I think they should have made them as dark as their ear cups on the inside. I so would have loved these to be that dark green. It would have been insane. I mean, just over and above all, my favorite pair of headphones if they made them that dark green. But it is what it is. You can't change the colors. I mean, you can switch the ear cup colors, but that's really about it. Other than that, I mean, I think it works. It's good. It probably fits a bigger demographic than just my opinion. So that's probably why Apple does it. Apple likes doing those light colors, those universal. It's kind of like when you're renovating a house. You know, the light colors do better than the dark ones when it comes to just creating a neutral, balanced look. That's the real estate investor in me, so a side tangent, but I think it's just going to fit overall what most people actually like. Now, what do I think about the controls when it comes to Apple using the digital crown they have on their Apple Watches for these headphones? I love it. I actually would prefer something manual, something tactile with feedback like this over anything with touch controls or the typical volume up, volume down, center button being the play, pause, and answer and call type of functionality in a pair of headphones. And really look at these. You really think that if they put a touchpad here or the typical control, rockers on these headphones, that it would actually look good? Only Apple could have made it this way because Apple is the one that first came up with this on an Apple Watch. So it just fits, it really works well. And I love how when you're using the volume or when you're messing around with it, how it gives you similar feedback to the way the AirPods Pro do, where it's not an actual vibration or anything or a real click, but it makes it feel like you're actually clicking with it. It's just so cool. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's just so cool and awesome to use and actually makes them fun to use. So I think they did a great job on doing that. It was seriously the right move in my opinion. But anyhow, I will say when it comes to the active noise canceling, let's talk about that next. With the ANC, these are the best over-the-ear ANC headphones I've ever used. Now, it's different when it comes to earbuds because the best earbuds I've ever used are the Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds. Those are pretty much almost tied with these. But if we're just talking over-the-ear headphones, these do it the best. And let me give an example of how I know that, or at least in my experience, why I think that. I've gone to the coffee shops a lot with these, doing gardening work, etc. A lot of things that will have loud noise associated with it, especially if you're mowing your lawn and things like that. Now, those things like lows and mids are easy to cancel out for most ANC headphones nowadays. But here's what I noticed with these. I was sitting down with these on and I looked up and I saw the barista steaming some milk. I saw another barista carrying around one of those trays where you put all your dirty dishes in, the bus tables with. Those usually produce a lot of high-pitched noises, especially when you're steaming milk. That's a really high-pitched noise that gets through like pretty much any pair of headphones, and dishes especially. It's the first time I was like, you know what? I haven't really heard it that much. Like, I was sitting there just thinking, that's usually like the only thing that leaks through at its highest volume the most with any ANC headphones I've used. And that was the first time I noticed these were different. So it's not trying to overhype these or anything, but I just think Apple, with whatever they're doing with their microphones for ANC, is on that path. They're doing better than the competition simply because of that, is how much frequency can they cancel out. But when it comes to blocking out lawnmowers, dogs barking, chatter in a coffee shop, man, of course it's going to be reduced. I mean, yes, you're going to hear it come through a little bit, but these by far are the best over-the-ear headphones for ANC I've ever used. Now, how do these sound? How do the 40mm drivers sound in these headphones? Well, I will put it this way. First off, when it comes to the volume is a really big key factor in me knowing how well they're tuned. How much did they actually care to engineer the speakers? Now, with these at any volume, it actually increased in richness and clarity and detail in the music as I turned it up. Usually most headphones give you more distortion than anything else, or they try to compensate for the music quality by just kicking up the lows so it can make an excuse for you to feel the music more. It doesn't matter where you're listening to. I mean, I've listened to Tool with these, I've listened to Meek Mill, Eminem, Nas, Jason Mraz, Bob Marley, you name it, I probably have listened to it with these headphones. And whatever genre I was listening to, that's what I was really impressed with, is you don't get that distortion just because you turn the volume up. You don't get overly loud, heavy bass because you turned it up. Everything is well balanced and it's really crystal clear. Now, one more thing I wanted to say about transparency mode before I forget with these. These are the only headphones I've used, and I will say here too, they are the best sounding transparency mode headphones I ever had, which I put that weird, but with the 9 microphones and everything, they're the only headphones that make it feel like they emulate what it's like to not have headphones on if you activate transparency mode, where the detail, how everything sounds, the direction things are coming from, even my own voice doesn't sound artificial. Now, because these are made by Apple for Apple products, I haven't had any issues with latency on my M1 MacBook Air or my iPhone 12, or really even simultaneously connecting between the two. And when it comes to controls of ANC and transparency mode and things like that, it works seamlessly on your MacBook. You can access that within volume of clicking the headphone icon in the top right corner, just like you can with your iPhone. So seamless, it works great. And again, I haven't had any latency issues with whatever it is I was watching. And as far as Bluetooth connection goes and how far I was able to go before there was a disconnect, is I live in a 1,200 square foot house. My office is at one end. If I go all the way to the dining room, which is the opposite end near the garage of the home, that's when I start to lose connection. I have to actually start going outside all the way over there before I'm like, okay, it's just not working anymore. So Bluetooth connection is really strong. It works as expected. No complaints there. All right, now if these have a 9 microphones, let's get into a microphone test and see how that does. All right, so here's how the microphones sound if you were going to be on a Zoom call or just basically if you're going to make a phone call with them. The microphone pickup should be the same. And then I'm going to play some ambient noise to see what it's like if you're in a coffee shop, or this is pretty accurate to simulating a coffee shop. So let's see how it does. And man, MacBooks have the worst cameras. So I pretty much have praised these headphones the entire review, so now it's time to get into some cons. When it comes to the battery life, I've usually gone about 20 hours before I've had to charge it. So I would say in my experience, maybe about 18 before I worried about charging them, before they would give me that little indicator, little do or whatever it does, letting me know to charge them and the battery's dying. So pretty spot on with that. Even with ANC on, I pretty much have ANC on all the time. 5 minutes gets you about an hour and a half of charge time, but my goodness, it just seems like they charge really slow still. So even though the battery life is good, it's a typical Apple thing to do Lightning when they know they could have just did USB-C. Now, the next thing that's really annoying in reference to powering and this and that, the fact that they don't have any way to manually turn them off to save battery life, and you have to do this to put it in sleep mode. You have to magnetically put them in a case, and in this case of all things, I mean, you know, Apple and their engineers spent a lot of time making these, but they decided to do that. It has to be that they don't want you to exit out of this ecosystem of the case. I don't know what else reason is there for that, really. There's those things, and then there's the fact that you can't use a cable to listen to anything with these. There's no headphone jack. So that's a major flaw for content creators, anybody that does. You know, their headphones die, you just have no choice but to charge them to be able to use them again. So besides those cons, or any cons I did mention in this video besides that list I just gave, what do I think about these headphones and if they're worth $549? I think for the ANC, the comfort and the sound, which are pretty much the major components of what you care about in a pair of headphones. Think about it. If you're only caring about a great pair of sounding headphones or earbuds or anything, if we're talking any category, the Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds are the best things I ever bought. These things really compare to these, and I don't care, even though they're a different style. I'm talking about if none of that matters, over ear, in ear, whatever, true wireless or not. These compete with these, and these are $279 and these are $549. So if we're talking, if you're just looking overall for a great pair of active noise canceling, sound quality, comfortability, gives you a great experience overall pair of earbuds or headphones, I would go with the Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds. These are still my daily drivers over these. So that's what I mean, is these are worth it for its category for what they are, but not if you were to really think about everything out there. And it's also one of those things where I'm talking about people who are Apple exclusive, if you will. If all of your products are Apple and this and that too, if you have an Android phone and a MacBook, I think it's not going to be a good experience, or vice versa, a Windows PC and an iPhone, you're going to be beholden to your iPhone when using these, and it just isn't worth the price. Where something like this, you can use for any device because of the app. And since these don't have an app and they're Apple exclusive, that's where those problems come up. So if you are Apple exclusive and you really don't care about the price or anything, you're gonna have a great experience with these, as much as I did. Awesome, best over-the-ear headphones I've ever used. So I truly hope this review was helpful, and thank you for watching. I hope all is well to good health. I will see you on the next one.